Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 3 here in season 1 of the F2 Championship in the Real Racing Cockpit Championship. I am your commentator, Captain Foxing. Joining me today, we have a special commentator, Arno. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
So today we have the Jeddah Corniche circuit located in Jeddah, of course. First Grand Prix held in 2021 with a circuit length of 6.174 kilometers and the track record held by Lewis Hamilton 2021 with a 1:30.734. Of course, with the F2 cars today, we might not reach anywhere closer by about 5 to 10 seconds. But of course, that will be seen after everyone finishes their one-shot qualifying. One attempt, one shot. Let's see who takes the top.
Yes, and I believe we are currently looking at the AI car of Enzo Fittipaldi. So if we could switch, there we go. Now looking at PFM 21, driving for Prema Racing, and I believe currently driving Andrea Kimi Antonelli's car. And going over the curbs quite aggressively. We'll see if this will result in an optimal lap time.
Course, with a track like this in F1 they can take those corners nearly flat out with a little of lifting, but these cars have half the downforce, so they need to be way more careful on that throttle and also on the brakes. We saw a little bit of locking entering turn 13, the first hairpin of the track, and look at that, clean through there, currently staying at the top of the grid ahead of Chris Racing, who took pole position last round in, pardon me if I forget the round. Arno, can you help me here?
In last round was round 2 in Japan, and he indeed took pole position and won the race from pole.
Currently sitting in P2, PFM 21, looking to maybe set the pole position time. Of course, the game could jump around at the last second as we're about to enter the final corner, final hairpin, turn 27. Bit of a lock on the front left, looks to be fine, and now across the line. Let's see where Chris is in compared, basically alongside, takes the inside line. Who is going to take the pole position? And it's going to be PFM with a 141.7. Wallward takes P2 with a 132.3, and Chris only manages to get P3.
Yeah, a rather dominant performance by the pole position sitter, with almost half a second separating him from P2. And meanwhile, it is much closer between P2 and P3, with the count being in milliseconds rather than tenth of a second.
Satin Penner takes P4 off round 1, posted in Melbourne, only managed to get P4. Then we have Will Jalman in the Dams car, then Patrick Myler in the Invicta, Mr. Kriko in Rodden, no assist in AX Racing, the Nocebo in Trident, and then DC Masi in Campus makes the top 10. And look at the times, there's a huge gap. Arno, what do you expect to see in the race?
Well, it might, yeah, some of the drivers at the lower end of a grid might end up getting lapped with these gaps in times, and they might pose a challenge in that way to the leading cars. Making the way past backmarkers can often be quite frustrating, and it very much can affect the outcome of a race, as we've seen many times in motorsports, both real and simulated.
Of course, now in racing, 28 laps around Jeddah in the F2 cars. We already saw in qualifying the cars taking the corners a bit more carefully as compared to F1. And now with racing close by, close the other competitors. With the gap like this, we might see PFM taking this pole position to a win. But Chris and Vainisen were very close behind. Half a second. But with the slipstream being potent here on this track, we might see a bit of action. Formation lap before we see all the cars go. We have 2 AI cars. I believe that is on purpose with Bortoletto and Fittipaldi. Hopefully they might not cause too many issues. With F1 games, we've seen many times that the AI can cause a bit of issues on online. Seems like a dry track today and tonight with 28 laps. So in this Friday night, the drivers are hyped up. I saw in the Discord, I saw the paddock talk. Everyone is hyped for tonight's race, and well, with a third posted, I might even be a different race winner. The championship could be jumped upside down. Well, I know, take us through the championship standings.
So, the current championship leader is Chris Racing, starting from P3, and crucially ahead of his closest rival, Saiten Panda, winner of round 1 and second place driver in the championship, only finishing in P7 in Japan. Following them in P3 is No Assist, today starting from all the way down in P8. No Assist has scored a third place finish in the season opener and a 6th in Japan. Following them is No Sebo, a rather consistent driver whose finishing positions match very closely to his championship standing. Behind him is Petrakam, followed by Valvor, followed by Pier Francesco, who did not participate in the first round but finished on the podium in the second, followed by the reserve driver of Vormerker, who finished in P6 in Australia but did not participate in Japan. Following them is Mr. Kriko, followed by Captain Tinless, then followed by Gerardo, Patrick Myler, with Jalman, Scaparro, and Infinity F226R. Of course, not all of these are in attendance today, so though those people, of course, will not have a chance to improve the championship standing.
There has been something has happened in the formation. Bordoletto and DC Mazzi had a collision, disqualifying both from the formation lap. They will be able to race, but they're going to start on ice cold tires and in a bad starting position. A few meters behind the actual line. I think it's about 1.5 meters behind, which will make it difficult for DC Mazzi to have a jump on the cars behind, but also on Nosebo in front. Of course, Bordoletto, the AI, might have a bit of struggles as well, but he's starting in P14, and I feel the AI are not managing to get the jump on the drivers tonight. So, every driver managed to line up on the grid, and the lights will turn off any second now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And it's pedal to the metal immediately up towards turn 1. Who's going to take turn 1 first? PF is on the outside, and there's Warwood already on the inside. Nearly getting overtaken by Chris. On the inside now, outside. Warwood takes it nearly on PF. Oh, Chris is round. Chris is round.
Oh.
He spun round.
And immediate misfortune for the championship leader. He will have to recover as many positions as he can, as we see a lap 1 safety car being deployed, and DC Mazzi collecting the first penalty of the race.
Big crash in the back. Bordoletto and Infinity just retired from the race. We saw that. You see the debris on the track behind. DC Mazzi was included as well, and I believe Chris also had a bit of contact in that part. Let's see the front wing if that's all in one piece. It looks fine to me, but DC Mazzi has a big part of the wing missing, and that looks to be quite a spectacular start with, of course, Chris not what he wants. Championship leader entering this short championship, round 3 being nearly half of this 8th race championship. Chris really needs to have a look to get all the positions back up in front. The savior can help him quite a bit, but of course we have to have a look what maybe the penalties as well are. Let's have a look what the penalties are.
Yes, it seems like the AI driver of Enzo Fittipaldi has somehow managed to get a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, which I was not aware the AI is capable of.
That seems to be quite a surprise. AI even making human mistakes here. And Jeddah, of course, shows with these close walls after a bit of action. What is happening there? Someone caused a stroll. That is Gerardo in the wall, causing a quite similar stroll crash. That's a wing gone.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what happened there. It seems like the driver has forgotten that there is a turn.
That is, I believe I saw them hit the inside wall like Stroll did in real life last year, but struggling, keeping the car. No, hits the barrier once again, but the car seems to be fine. Can they hit the reverse? Yes, they have. But
Of
that
course,
is a
the
big
luck.
mistake. Gerardo was, I believe, up in P8, dropped down all the way down into last place, and he's repaired that wing as well. We have a few cars as well in the pit lane. Let's have a look who it all is. It is DC Mazzi, Chris, and Mr. Kriko joining the pit lane.
I believe we're only seeing the drivers who need repair speeding, as on lap 1, even the most aggressive of strategists will find it far too early for a tire change.
Let's have a look what tires we go on to. We have the super soft tires, then the softs and the mediums for the 3 compounds that can be used. We see basically everyone being on the mediums except the ones who have pitted right now. It is Gerardo and Mr. Kriko on the softs. Chris, I saw in the pits, have swapped on the new fresh medium set. So does DC Mazzi. The 4 cars who have pitted, going with 2 different tire strategies. The ones going on super soft will definitely do another stop. The ones on mediums could maybe look to put on the end, but we might see a stop there as well onto the super soft tires. Maybe even the soft tires could have a role in this race.
Yes, very interesting to see Chris Racing switching to a brand new set of tires. I'm not quite sure if he suffered damage. I did not see any on his car, but of course, what we see isn't all there is to damage. And we will have to see how this changes his strategy and his approach to the race, as he will look to fight back to the higher positions. And of course, Mr. Crico and Gerardo, on the softest tire compound available, are surely looking to try and fight back as many positions as possible, as quickly as possible, and then likely get back onto a fresh set of mediums to last them till the end.
So now we will see which strategy is smart. Of course, on paper, the Super Softs could have a look to maybe gain as many positions at the start, but the fall off on a track like this is huge. There's Seth and Penner making a sudden choice to go into the pit lane. 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, and that will not be good for his championship hopes, as fate has given him a massive lead over his main rival, and it seems that it's been squandered already. Even without any racing going on, there is drama under the safety car.
Going on to a fresh set of medium tires, which is a sudden choice. There was no damage suffered on that car, and I believe there was also no tire wear. Of course, safety car coming up basically immediately that the car didn't push. Will there be a second till the end? I highly doubt that. That's quite a daring move to go onto the medium compounds again. Of course, around the last 2 rounds, you saw a 2-stop strategy all around. Maybe a 3-stop as well for drivers who've gone for a very aggressive strategy, but I believe Saturn here might be looking to go for a aggressive 3-stop strategy as well, depending if he goes for 2 super soft compounds. Of course, you only have a set amount of tires during a race weekend like this. I think they've gone. That's the last set of mediums that they have available.
I'm thinking that this might, in fact, be the opposite. An attempt at running what is effectively a no-stop race. Perhaps Saturn Penner has such trust in this medium compound that he believes they will last the entire 26 laps that we have got left in this race. But it is, of course, too early to tell. Whatever the idea is, whatever the strategy is, it is a bold one.
Of course, often we see bold strategies coming into play in a good way, but of course these strategies, I've seen them countless of times failing and losing them what could be a higher finishing position. Of course, Saturn entered the pit lane when he was in basically P3, but then now it drops down to P11 all the way down outside the points, which is quite a sudden jump. And he's gone in again. He's going in again. What is going on?
What's happening? I have no idea what's happening. He cannot serve the 10-second penalty under the safety car. And my apologies for that. He cannot serve the 10-second penalty, as that is not following regulation.
It is serving the 10 seconds. That's surprising.
Now I know that
gate.
is not. Yeah, that is not legal in the actual Formula 1 and Formula 2 rules, I believe, but I suppose the game might be a bit different on that.
In the F1 part of this game, you can't do that. As a driver myself, I've known it is impossible to do that. The team will just change the tires. Surprisingly, in F2, it is not the case, which is a big surprise and it's really helpful for Saturn. This negates his penalty, but drops down other 2 positions, which at this point might not be much. I saw the team changing the tires, and I believe that is what I've been saying. They've switched the tires back onto the starting set of mediums, and he's now on 2-lap-old mediums, so
that must be a mistake.
So that shows that he's run out of medium compounds.
That must be a mistake by Saturn Penner to switch back to the medium compound. Perhaps he was not aware of having only 2 available. But the greater danger I see right now is that the safety car might not even last long enough anymore for him to catch back up to the end of the queue. Although, as I said, DC Massey has seemingly sped up, and the 2 are closer than ever to the back of the safety car line. So just maybe he's gotten away with it.
Might see after the happen or during the happen what the game decides. Usually the game decides if the queue is close enough it goes, but it could also be after a set of laps. The safety car will also go in. We will see around this happen. Does the safety car decide to go for another lap? It does seem like that there's going to be another lap of safety car, which gives great help to the two drivers who are about to catch up there. Yeah, we just saw them appear towards the hairpin. And this is going to be the final lap in the safety car. Also, something we have missed out on. Warwood managed to got the jump on PFM 21 doing that turn 1 dive bomb on the inside while Chris was spinning out. Warwood managed to get out of that kerfuffle the position. So Warwood is now a new leading driver of the race.
Yes, he's done a very good job getting alongside at the start, and what I think is an even better job keeping it alongside through the first couple corner around this circuit with its walls. That is no easy feat.
We also see that with this, we might see that two Dumps racing cars could jump up the standings position here. It's securing P1 and P3 to currently. Prema might be under pressure. We also know that Chris is racing solo in that team as well. I believe that's Trident is running. Pardon me, not Trident.
Chris is racing with Campos, and yes, I do believe he is racing solo.
DC Maz is now in the same team as well, so DC Mazi could maybe help to gain some points. Currently outside of DC Mazi, but Chris is in 9th place, securing himself 2 points to his name. I believe that's how F2 was set as done, similar to F1. And up ahead, Warwood could be maybe looking to get the crucial points he needs to jump certain ends with it, maybe even Chris. Those 47 points to Chris's name, while the 33 points to Set Penna's name. All to be played for here in Saudi Arabia. We are safety car in this lap.
I believe this has been one of the longest safety car periods I have witnessed in this game. And now it's finally nearing its end, and we are preparing to go back racing. Over to you.
Let's have the car roar up to the line. See when Warwood decides to drop the hammer and run away. Usually we might see that at the end after the hairpin, but to distract the rivals behind before the hairpin is also good time.
He's leaving it very late, and I think he'll just go out the last corner.
Drop the hammer.
We are off.
Here we go. Back to racing. Up towards turn 1. And it looks like a good jump from Warwood. But in the back, we see side by side. That's no assist on Patrick nearly, but also in the back. That is Captain Teenless, I think. Going down the inside. Pardon me, that's Fittipaldi as well. Going side by side. AI versus driver. Who's going to be? Then nearly make it there, making it 3 wide. Up towards turn 3. There we still on board with Fittipaldi on the inside. Backs out of that, up in front. Captain Teenless got the position, but there's Chris on the inside getting that position done and runs away.
Chris already making great headway in his recovery as the human drivers make it around the AI, not giving the virtual car much regard as DC Massey picks up our very first track limits penalty of the race. This is something I expect to see quite a bit of, despite this being technically a street circuit and having quite a lot of walls. There's plenty of opportunity to make mistakes, as we see a caution in sector 2, but a very brief one, probably someone leaving the track.
We see here Chris and Nosebo are under pressure from each other. Chris got overtaken by Mr. Krieger, but then dropped it out of a turn 17, but now up towards turn 25. Here we go. Oh, a bit of contact between the two. Nose hits the rear grille, pardon me, rear diffuser. Now side by side up towards turn 26. Another half of turn 27 is the Red Bull, aka the pardon me, I keep forgetting the car. It's a Red, I say the Campus car. Could get some run on the happen. I'll be there, Arno. had a bit of a mistake.
And yeah, and he's taking that position quite nicely, and I do not believe that No Assist will have an opportunity now to fight back, as we see an attempt being made at P1 by PFM, and with jam spins out in P3, it seemingly by himself. A simple driver error that puts him all the way back in P8 and rejoining safely, thankfully.
That was 1-1, what Chris has done on lap 1. The tires seem to be not up to temperature yet, up to standards what the drivers want. But here we see the battle for the lead between PFM 21 and Warwood. Of course, Warwood had got it out of turn 1 and lap 1, but now the Prema car of PF21 does not give out yet. He wants to get that lead back, wants to make his pole position into a win. They make it side by side out of the hairpin of turn 13 up towards turn 16, the right-hander. Will they do something here? Stays behind for now, but there will be a DS zone coming up after this straight here. Will help greatly the Prema car. There's a car around. That could be written by the safety car. There's another safety car.
Oh no, and that is Gerardo, and he breaks his front wing even more, attempting to recover. And that is frankly very unfortunate timing of a safety car, at least as far as we, the commentators, and you, the viewers, are concerned, as the fight for P1 was heating up. And now, only... how many laps has it been? 3? 3 laps since the end of the previous safety car, we get the second one.
Fittipaldi is missing a front wing, showing that he might be involved in a collision with Gerardo. DC Mazzi has left the session and has rejoined, probably connection issues. So basically, I believe he was slightly involved there as well. His car seems to be fine. We might see the Fittipaldi AI car having to jump into the pit lane to fix that front nose, as there's nothing left of that wing. Same thing we saw on Gerardo's car, but up in front, as Arno said, that is very unfortunate timing. PFM had to run. Could have maybe had a look on Warwood, but look at that. Look who's in P3. Chris has managed to get all the way back to where he started.
Yes, his comeback drive is, well, it's looking like it's on. In fact, on for a potential win, as we see Certain Penna, Captain Tinless, and the AI car of Fittipaldi in the pits. And now, on lap 8, an early pit stop seems much more reasonable, as Gerardo picks up a 10-second penalty in addition to his repair time while going into the pit lane.
Certain Penna goes back to the mediums. He has gone on after his first stop. 1 lap all tires, which shows that he might not have thought out that strategy. Maybe he had, but with that penalty that he picked up and then had to serve, he switched back. Will this be enough? Full Certain Penna. Of course, we're already 8 laps down out of 28, and 28 does seem like a big number, but we barely have scraped the surface what this race has. And Certain Penna does seem to be struggling a little bit. Fittipaldi AI car, something to look forward to, has gone to super soft tires. Usually the AI know their way with strategy, so let's see if maybe later on we might see someone joining in on those super softs. Talking about super soft tires, Mr. Krico is currently on set super softs.
Yes, and he has gotten himself quite a bit higher than he was, as we see DC Marcy, well, DC from the session, after receiving perhaps 1 too many corner cut penalties for his liking.
That is unfortunate to see, sadly, that we see a driver leaving this early on. There's a car! There's a car stopped. I believe that is DC Marcy stopped. Oh, there we go, down the left-hand side. DC Mazzi, who has... That looked like...
I believe it has to be, as DC Mazzi is a fellow campus car, and which is the team, of course, that uses the Red Bull livery.
Now, this could be a long safety car again, so be prepared. We need to wait for Gerardo to catch back up to the pack. Currently in the midst of Sector 2. Infinity has left the session, but he has had to crash at the start of the race. But here we see again, Gerardo just needed the same mistake he's done in the first safety car. Oh dear, he spits and loses his wing again.
Oh no. We have seen... it seems to me now that we have seen more crashes on the safety car than crashes on the green in this race, which is not something you get to say a lot.
Gerardo seems to be not getting used to this Formula 2 car. Of course, no assist as a name, as a league name, not Cockpit Racing. Oh, he says you are set in this league to be set in cockpit mode, so basically first person, no assist as well, and it seems to be really hitting a toll on Gerardo here in the I say Williams car, but that's Arnold will hit me here. What team is this?
This is the MP car, which this one in fact is quite a bit easier than the rest of the teams because their logo is MP.
Thank you, Anna, so much. Pardon me for this. I say stupidity, but more something to... I am not used to commentating F2, so it is quite a big change for me as well. But here we are back onto a leading group. Following a safety car, we see in the back 2 cars coming through. That is Fittipaldi and Captain Tinders coming closer, but I believe with Gerardo being this far back, he might not be involved in the cars of the safety car restart. I believe there is a bit of a buffer how far back you're allowed to be before the safety decides that it is not worthy to wait for you to come. But here we go. Round.
Yes, I believe this coming lap might be the last one for the safety car, as Gerardo is nearly a full lap now behind the main safety car line. So I do not expect F124 to let him catch up before restarting.
F124 always has a few surprises under their hat. See here, can PFM as well after the safety restart retake the lead, retake that P1 that they've lost so dearly at the start of the race. And also in the back, Chris showed great potential. Fresher tires as well, 1 lap. That is a big jump as well. We have to think this track does consume tires for breakfast. Very high on those high-speed corners, so 1 lap fresher tires means the world in difference, and Chris Racing has all that under their grasp. Mr. Creeko might be soon finding out that those supersofts could suffer of worn out from durability sooner or later. Let's see.
I was just about to say I would be looking quite closely at Mr. Creeko during the safety car restart, as I fear those 8-lap old super soft tires. Oh, that feels absolutely horrifying to say. 8-lap old super soft tires might just become the cause of another safety car, or at least a VSC.
Turn 2 saw 2 drivers already spinning round. Might Mr. Creeko be the third victim of that corner? Because this track is all around walls, so maybe not turn 2, but Mr. Creeko hopefully has a way with that car. They do know, hopefully enough to know that those super softs could maybe last for a few more laps. So maybe decide to go in for a sudden pit stop. Gerardo goes back in the pit lane, but it's just safe in this lap, so he is getting disregarded for now. So Walworth will take it away.
Now, will Walworth be able to once again have a good restart and keep PFM off his back for at least a little bit? Or is PFM wise to the race leader's tricks at this point? Once again, he is not starting as soon as possible. He is waiting for that perfect moment to suddenly accelerate and drop the cars behind him. As this time he decides to accelerate right out of the final corner, and indeed he is pulling away from PFM. Walworth seems to be quite good at restarts, as we see cars going side by side into turn 1 with Jamin making an overtake before the turn even starts.
That was nicely done by Jamin. Great, the second restart getting nearly Nocebo, but then Nocebo I think took it back there. That was right before turn 1. Better to see who got it from, but there's a big lockup from Nocebo, and that lost them all the momentum entering now the S's here. Turn 6, 7, 8, 9, all consecutive. You see how much the F2 cars are struggling around here, how much you have to live. Staying in 4th gear and now out, taking all the momentum in the slipstream. That was a good run. No battery in these cars. All power modes. All power strength. Down the inside of the first hairpin. And he gets it done in Saint Peter. Follows through quite nicely. They are side by side. And will the Prema car make it? Still side by side. The Trident car backs out of that one. And so Saint Peter gets that position number. Can he follow through? Might even get Vishalman. Not quite, but up in front. Here we see the battle for the lead already heating up nicely. PFM had a good second half of the lap and follows through. But Chris doesn't back out of that one. We see all of them in this camera shot. Perfectly following in tandem up towards a final happen. Who will come up in front?
Chris's compact drive is going brilliantly as he's already thinking of going alongside BFM. As we see a little bit of a lockup from the leading car, and that is just enough to allow the other two to stick close to him. Now going side by side with Chris Racing secure on the outside, BFM securing the inside, and it looks like BFM has outbraked his rival for this one. But that's a safety car.
There's a safety has been caused by Captain Tinas in the final corner. And he's been again. There was the Fittipaldi car was involved in that, and there's a third safety car here in Saudi Arabia. Incredible.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's Saudi Arabia. It's not entirely unexpected to see a good handful of safety cars being deployed. All these walls are doing their job perfectly well and providing something for all of these Formula 2 cars to crash into. But yeah, that have we now had more safety car? Yeah, we had more safety car laps than racing laps at this point.
I believe so. The numbers are going through the roof here. I believe it's more going to be a Canada 2011 moment. Also behind the safety car. Oh, this is quite a turn of surprise. Turn around of surprise. So, I expected this to be quite a surprise race.
Something I would like to point out in light of the amount of safety car laps we got is that those super soft tires on Mr. Cripple's car that we were so worried on, that 10 lap count is not nearly as bad as it may look, because most of those have been safety car laps.
So up in front, Gerardo is going to be the first car to catch the safety car. The safety car, of course, will let him pass, and this could be the chance for him to catch up. And we see the first driver is going to pit lane. So we see forward, PFM, Chris. Patrick stays out on the medium compound. So does No Assist and Settenpenner. Of course, Settenpenner being the one on the freshest tires here. His strategy seems to be looking forward. And with this very safety, because I think, Arno, you were correct with it. You might be thinking of a no stop afterwards during the race, as those medium compounds barely get worn. As you said with the super soft compounds as well. They will basically stay in good shape until the final part of the race. So surprisingly, in the back, the drivers who have gone to pit lane, Mr. Creeko being on the super soft, has now switched onto the mediums. The rest has gone onto the super soft tires. Will they last the full race distance? Maybe, depending on how many safety cars we will have for the rest of the race.
Well, I would say at least another one, as this is, this really is the lap of the big gamble. Do you pit on the safety car or do you stay out? And we see 3 drivers who have made the decision to stay out. Now, 2 of them have not yet pitted and will be forced to pit. They will be forced to complete their mandatory stop yet. Patrick Myler and No Assist, both standing to lose quite a bit from this strategy choice. But Settenpenner, with his much fresher tires, as Luca here has said, might yet go to the end. Although, the question is, has he used any other compound?
He does. So as far as I've seen, he stayed in the mediums. He did not reach the required two compound compound. Also, I believe the rules in Formula 2 are a bit different. I said there are 3 compounds in the race. I think it's only super softs and mediums. No soft compounds in between. So there's only 2 compounds we played with, and a set does have to have a look to maybe jump at the end onto the super softs. Of course, with how many seconds we see, there could be maybe a safety car near the end where he could have given the greatest opportunity, but I believe I see in front, yes, there is no assist, not going in, taking the pit lane line, but then deciding to stay out. Interesting choice.
Perhaps simply trying to stay out of the dirty air of the car ahead and just make sure that there is fewer opportunities for a mistake.
This could be the lap where the safety car goes in. The whole group, except for Gerardo, has catch back up. Gerardo is basically a lap down so far, half a lap in the back. Doing his race on his own, currently relaxing in P10. He is going to get that 1 point, you know, as people say, at least staying in the race does secure you a bit. And in this case, it will secure him that 1 single point. He could be hoping for to maybe have a difference in the best part of the season. But so far in the front, it is all different, to be thoughtful, as Warwood was our leader, as a jump by Fittipaldi and Zettenpenner, who has both pitted already a minimum of 1 time. Patrick Swiller of Petman knows this, of course, are the two drivers who have not pitted yet, the 2 outsiders of this pit stop battle so far. They might lose positions unless, of course, a full safety car switches things all around and could have them a choice in the back between Wower, PFM, and Chris. They are going to have a bit of battles with lapped cars, and Fittipaldi's AI level does might be a bit of a wall, a blockade for our leading battle.
Yes, the AI car is a real wild card in all this. Just just really existing as this disruption within the field of human drivers. It is quite interesting how it might affect the results. Will Volvo and the rest of the virtual top 3 be able to get around Fittipaldi quickly? Safety car is called in and we are ready for another restart. This time it is Patrick Miller's turn to take it away. And take it away he does, surprising, no assists, and getting himself quite a healthy gap before turn 1, as we already see cars going side by side. I believe that is
oh, there's PFM and Warwick going past Fittipaldi. Nicely done. That was Warwick quick. Oh, there's a debris fly. That's a wing. Who lost the end plate? That could have been Chris. I believe that was Chris's right, left end plate flying off. He has hit the barrier trying to get past. Will we see a better shot of this? We might not see anything. Whoa, a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, this is very unfortunate for him, and this might affect the results massively, as Patrick Miller also gets a penalty. As we see cars going, and is that nearly
contact? Oh, there is forward. Collected.
Oh, and that is just misfortune on top of misfortune. As all of that lets Chris Racing retake P4, and now he is actually 3rd, but effectively 2nd, chasing down PFM. Both drivers on exact same age of tires, still going side by side, and that's Chris in front in the Red Bull liveried car, setting his sights on the Prema of PFM.
That was quite a surprising turn of events to happen. That was quite a dive by Warwood. Of course, our 3-second plate probably has ticked him off in the wrong way, deciding to try to find as much time as possible, as soon as possible, which just caused for a big dive. Here we go again. There's no Vishaiman on the teammate, but didn't quite manage to make it stick. Here we go. Warwood could have a look on no assist, so assist seems to be struggling a little bit this lap. Of course, those worn tires are not showing well. Side by side between the two the teammates here up towards turn 1, no assist up in front, stays ahead, and there is Fishman. Pushes the leader teammate off with collision. But who's going to come out in front? Warwood stays ahead for now. And that was very close.
Still side by side. Definitely no team orders going around in the... not entirely sure which team it is, I'm sorry. Definitely no team orders happening in dumps. And as Jamin is forced to once again stand at the back of Warwood's car. And he himself is under threat from Mr. Kriko behind, who's finally gotten off those super soft tires in the latest safety car, and now he's one of the remaining medium runners, and forced to battle against a faster tire. But another battle going on is the battle for P1, as PFM has caught up to Patrick Myler using his tire compound and tire age advantage to close the gap quickly, and Chris Racing is right there, making it a three-way battle for P1. On the inside, PFM is looking for an overtake in the last corner, but Chris Racing goes around his outside, and it changes once again through the braking zone. PFM securing the inside, and now the three wide and massive
collision, big crash.
Collision, and that looks like Patrick Myler has taken the worst of it, taking some damage, and maybe the other cars have some of it as well that we cannot see. Side by side through turn 1, through turn 2, PFM staying ahead. Very, very hard fight.
Richard safety car for Fittipaldi. He is out of the race. He got collected, I believe, by Nocebo, or was it Gerardo? Fittipaldi is out. The AI car, the wild card is out. But that was a crazy crash on the main straight between PFM, Chris, and Patrick. Right, we see PFM took the biggest amount of damage. Patrick lost the most amount of time, but Chris did not get out of that unscathed either. The left side is fully damaged now as well, and that is quite a bit. Will PFM be able to race with this damage? He got the position on Chris, nicely defended as well, but this might be a bit of a jump as well. There is just too much play going in. Patrick Miller got a penalty as well on his name. I believe that was also from that collision, the 3-second time penalty. So we will see later on. 17 laps in. I believe I saw this for the first time DS enabled, which is saying we will not turn that off. But that was the first time we saw actually DS being enabled in race with the amount of safety cars we've seen.
And now PFM now faces an absolutely brutal choice. Does he pit for damage, or does he... Well, as we go on to the restart, just the finish that, and Chris Racing already gaining on PFM, perhaps having gotten a better start, and he might just be ahead. Yes, he's fully ahead by the braking zone, but that overtake was not even a challenge. But look at it, PFM is trying to fight back, forcing Chris onto the defensive line.
Here we go, the first
and
time
now
we see DS in action. The Prima car of PFM got the DS, and we see how much time that gains them down the inside. Is he gonna have a look? Yes, he does. Will he miss a braking point? Not exactly. He does it perfectly. That was a clean, done and dusted overtake down the inside, and Chris had no way to respond.
As if he is not missing half a front wing. That was a very, very impressive turn in, and well, that shows why this is the man who took the pole position today.
So Rico gets a 3-second time penalty to his name. As you said, with no front wing damage, the confidence in that car, that driver really decided to just go full pace. But in the back, Sand Panda gets P3, and now it's the Prima cars in 1-3. That was the dumps cars at the start of the race. Started Prima cars. Could be looking to get the jump. Chris could maybe look to extend the championship lead, depending what Saturn does. His car, of course, fresher mediums than compared to this. Oh, there's debris flying. That is Chris's debris. I saw more damage on that car. Look at that. It's the same amount of damage that PF has.
And now I think that's a end plate missing off of Chris's car, and that will even the playing field somewhat between him and PFM.
But here we go. Certain Penna with this fresh car, fresh tires, basically 11 lap on mediums. They could make it to the end. Maybe he needs to have a look to also go into the super softs, as a mandatory tire compound rule does say. But he could be up in first place before that even happens. Look at the time gain he's done so far. Warwood was also involved in a bit of an overtake in the back. We see them side by side in the back. Here we go, the two dumps cars. Oh, we see in the slipstream, that's Warwood with yes. Is he gonna have a look? The defense inside with Shaman. Now on the outside, Warwood. Is he gonna make it past with the yes? Not quite. Late on the brakes, maybe. Goes really wide. There's still something that cuts the corner a little bit. Warwood has to back out of it and goes back behind.
Yeah, these teammates, this is some of the hardest teammates fighting I've seen. This is Hamilton-Rosberg type stuff here. They are giving each other absolutely no mercy. And I imagine even breathing a word of team orders within that garage will not end well at all. As Saturn Penna is getting right up to the end. Oh, and Chris Racing is ghosting, and that's allowed Saturn Penna through.
I believe that was not going to be. Chris just missed his breaker point, went wide, and Saturn just slipped down the inside to get it done. That shows us how much our front wing damage is impacting that Red Bull liveried car, of course. The Campos car. We have to have a look as well. That Red Bull liveried Campos car seems to be struggling with downforce. PFM on the other hand seems to be handling it a little better, but Saturn Penna, more worn mediums for harder compound, more worn, seems to have the upper hand on pace just because of the front wing. That's all intact. Here we go in the DS. He's looking for the outside. His teammates might not make it easy. They are side by side up towards the head, but there's a yellow flag. Will there be a safety car? No, the green flag comes out, and so the two Prema cars are 1-2, but look at Chris.
Chris is now right there alongside PFM, and now they're looking at making it 3 wide once again. And but no, Chris thinks better of it as PFM retakes the lead with a rather impressive move, I would say, against Saturn Penna, and the fight goes on for another lap as we get the confirmation that, much like Dams, there are no team orders at Prema.
With Dams, the team orders are basically out the window. Here in Prema, I believe they are fighting a little less hard. We saw that Saturn did not put any pressure up towards turn 1. Basically, they let their teammate easily through, but of course there's still a bit of fighting going on here. Racing does equal with fighting. Tell that to Lewis Hamilton up towards the first hairpin. We see the 1-2 Prema cars. This could easily jump Saturn Penna back up into the lead. Of course, he needs to take that win with Chris being in third place to have a look to just get closer. Of course, 30 points difference in the standings. PFM is the car standing in between Saturn and the lead of the championship, but Prema looking to be setting themselves nicely for a good promotion position. Of course, one thing that Saturn does have to look out for is his tires. He's still on those medium compounds. He's not allowed to stay on them till the end of the race, but it seems to be tough. More tough as Richaiman gets Chris in the background. I just saw that happen. So Chris demotes himself down to P4.
And the Saturn Penna promotes himself up to P1. And while all that was happening, we saw the cars of no assistant Volvo pit as looks like the fighting between the Premas is still not quite over, as PFM now has the DRS, and that is making the overtake quite easy for him. He has the inside for turn 1. Will he get the braking right once again? Looks like he does. He has really mastered that turn, and I don't believe I've seen him made a mistake there even once.
PF seems to be pretty confident on the brakes, but we've seen missing by 3 drivers. Saturn, for example, does brake a bit early. Of course, he does so. He's fighting his teammate. The battles within team orders are still going through. He doesn't want to take out his teammate, but that is PFM losing a lot in the first second, which is pretty much front downforce dependent, and that just shows how much Saturn Penna caught through there. But sadly, being behind, he had to lift quite a few times, even hit the brakes at one point there, I think I saw, which gave Richaiman a great chance to catch up to them. And Vichaman seems to be set to take maybe the P1 off the grass of the Prema cars, with Satin Penna needing to change the strategy. But here we go! Down the inside goes Vichaman. And so, does the Dumps car make it? Yes, he does it! The straight lane speed is impeccable in that Dumps car.
And that was a rather simple DRS overtake, even though, well, both of them technically had DRS, with Jamin is now looking at the back of the leader and is now will be thinking of how to make that overtake, as once again, he has DRS, the outside line, and that was that. A rather simple overtake, and in fact, PFM loses not one, but 2 positions as his teammates follows the Dumps car, making an easy DRS overtake himself.
I believe Satin Penna did not manage to win right there.
No, apologies for that.
Has a bit of a switch. The cars do seem a bit similar, but Vichaman and the Dumps car does get the P1. But oh, that's very early braking by the Dumps car. And there was a locking by PFM. That was visual locking. He had to stomp the brakes, not rear-end the blue Dumps car. Of course, one thing that again comes down here is the downforce on the front, which the Dumps car has. The Prema car does need to focus on not doing too many mistakes. We're here to maybe use the less downforce for their straight lane speed battle after the first DS opportunity after they happened. But Satin Penna seems to be losing out a little bit. So one thing that I'm still keeping an eye on are those medium compounds. Is the rule gonna throw away with that 2 mandatory tire compounds? Maybe enough to do it is different. We saw already a bit of change in the rules with the penalties. Maybe this rule will also not really apply.
And it seems that with Jamin has dropped PFM from the 1 second DRS window, leaving him very, very vulnerable to attack from his teammate. Because, well, it's not going to matter what tires he has, as we see PFM's rear wing remain tightly closed. But Satin Penna does not make the overtake, perhaps thinking better of getting ahead of his teammate or simply not being far enough alongside.
Satin Penna seems to be not pushing his teammate too much. He has tried it once there, but this time easy pass through here. But will it be again what we've seen the last 2 times? There is a bad corner by Satin Penna, and that will be an easy overtake, maybe by PFM. A bit of rear end loss on the exit after happen, as he's now gonna open his wing one more time. Will Satin Penna defend? Not at all. He's giving him all the inside as much as he can. Breaks early and lets him pass one more time. Is this intentional? Are they trying to push each other with the DS? Or is Satin Penna thinking the better of it and deciding to not fight his teammate at all? Hoping to just get a clean race out of this.
Yes, I suppose I was wrong about the lack of team orders over at Prema, as the 2 teammates certainly are being quite nice to each other, as we see the car of Gerardo get out of the way of the leaders, respecting the blue flags. Always nice to see.
Oh, that is Gerardo. That is Gerardo. But Patrick Mice at the same time got a penalty right as Gerardo rejoined back on track. But something I need to look out here. Will the Prema's car, will PFM for the championship purpose let Satin Penna red past before the end of the race? Or will this be the finishing position? Of course, it will be all coming down in about 5 laps time. Bit of a wall tap by PFM down front. The back, the battle between noise and what is also going on. But here we go. Satin is out on the inside. Will become the outside. But this time is way more ahead than he was before. Does not back out. He gets the position. But for the first time around turn 22. And so goes past here. So PFM could have a chance to get it back on this DS zone here. Second DS zone on the track. And then it will be all opposite day for the 2 Prema cars, with Satin Penna maybe getting it back. He backs out of it. Yes, he does back out of it. Since 2024, the DS line is here at the exit of the corner. And so Satin Penna gets the DS zone, the DS detection, and opens his wing. Making it maybe an easy overtake for turn 1. Will he have the straight line speed?
Well, he will not have the outside line, and he does not even make an overtake attempt, as maybe they are trying to gain some pace through DRS, or maybe Satin Penna is letting PFM stay ahead. Either way, all of that, whatever it is they're planning, it is letting Jamin run away with it, as he's now built a gap of well over 3 seconds, and it just keeps growing. And And a driver who, for most of the race, did not look like a likely winner is now going to have to try very hard to lose it. Sergeant Penna once again seems to have a bit of an opportunity to attack, but does not quite take it.
Stays behind so far. Vishalman, we haven't seen him close to the top 3 only once at the start of the race, but now is leading comfortably. As Anu said, this what the Prema cars are doing is not helping them in any chance. Of course, Saturn has a front wing, he should be the leading car, but whatever's happening in the Prema garage, they are deciding to let PFM in front. Could this be maybe to jump a PFM in positions or in the standings? What's going on? We have to have a look afterwards. We might have interviews with the drivers afterwards. We could have listen to what the thought process there is. But then Penna goes to the outside. This might be an easy overtake, but it will be all over again. What we saw the last 2, now 3 times on the main straight. Bit of rear end loss by Saturn Penna. These F2 cars have a lot of rear torque. Easy to lose it, but there we go. Saturn Penna has to go in to change to the mandatory super softs, and will lose a lot of positions here.
Very, very careful this time not to get himself another 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that is a fresh super soft going in, and he will now have to use the very last laps of the race to try and see if he can make any positions back, as he will be just about overtaken by Patrick Meyer, I believe. And will be a couple seconds, maybe less than that, behind.
So Saturn Penna rejoins on P6, and the Prema hopes to get a double podium. Falls out the window right then and there. Saturn Penna's strategy did not play out well. That was quite a gamble at the start of the race. You might have thought that might have worked, but the zero-stop strategy does not, or the one-stop strategy does not work if you switch to the same compounds. As we've just learned, Saturn Penna lost all the positions that he gained with that starting gamble. PFM 5.89 seconds behind, and it's losing quite a bit of time. That front wing really is losing him heaps amount of time, but one bad that we've been missing out on for a bit of time now is those sisters Warward. Both have the front wing, I believe so. And so this battle between the two could just maybe heat up just before the end of the race. The Dump's car versus the Ike's car.
Yeah. Volvo defeated relatively recently, seemingly to get away from a fight with his own teammate. And that might have cost him quite a few positions and quite a bit of time, which is a great shame to see from one of the top contenders, I would say, for this race, at least in terms of pure pace in the beginning, as he gets himself another 3-second time penalty. And I think that is his third. Yeah, that is his third. Of course, all the pace in the world. Well, no, all the pace in the world could overcome 9 seconds worth of penalties, but maybe he doesn't quite have that much.
Novices has managed to stay in the DS zone for quite a while, and I don't think he's leaving that anytime soon, and 9 seconds seems to be basically impossible for Warwood to gain in the last 3 laps of the race, with Richarman leading it quite comfortably, gaining about a second a lap to PFM. Pole-sitter, this could be the first race this season where pole-sitter does not equal to race winner, with PFM being sadly the proof that a surprising race like this one could just shuffle the grid quite a bit. Saturn Penna goes back up into P5, getting Patrick Meyer after being 2.5 seconds down on him, but that's just how fast those super soft tires are. Of course, basically no fuel load left in that car, so it's at the lightest moment now, getting only lighter with fresh tires. We could maybe see Saturn Penna take a few points back with the fastest lap. Of course, it will gain him 1 point to get the fastest lap, and all to be played for. Short season, all points do count a lot.
Of course, and Saturn will be pushing very hard now, as while Mr. Kriko only has 3 seconds worth of penalties, there is still a chance for him to get another before the end of the race, and Penna might just, and I mean just, be able to get that gap down to 6 seconds. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but he has to push, he has to take the chance, because it's the only chance he's got.
So 8.5 seconds right now. Drops it down to nearly 8.2. Loses it a bit on the exit. It needs to be down to 3 or lower to get that P4. But Mr. Kliko does seem to be quite fast. And that is Saturn Penner, as I just said, going for the fastest lap. 1:43.4. I believe it's faster than what the posted time was around there. Around where he's standing pole position. I think probably was a 1:47, 42.7. And Saturn has maybe part to that with a 1:43.4. Here we see just how much he's pushing through the first sector. Absolutely swinging that wheel left, right, left again. Start on the 107. He even went down to third gear for a second there. Well, something I haven't seen a lot of time happening. With a smoke up ahead.
And getting that gap down below 6 seconds now looks all but inevitable. But of course, with only 2 laps left in the race, unless he can be literally 3 seconds a lap faster, he's probably not getting within that penalty window. But then again, maybe, and he will certainly try.
Richardman will start the final lap of the race after going through that happen. 5.5 seconds for certain. This could be looking very well for the Prema car to maybe get that P4 after losing his P3 to that pit stop. He is only going to lose 1 full positions at the end of the race if this pace keeps on coming. 4.5, about to enter the final lap. Richardman is in the final lap, and we will switch him before he finishes the race. But the Prema car seem to be setting a good couple points for their team here. Of course, Dams is not going to lose a lot of points out of Richardman taking a win, and Forward being down in P8 after penalties will be involved. No fast left for Saturn Penner after that final sector. It was a fast final sector. Couldn't manage to get the full lap through though. So here we go. So final lap for all the drivers except for Gerardo. He needs to, of course, cross that line about 2 more times to enter the final lap. He sadly has been lapped after the safety car mishaps. Seems to be struggling a little bit with that Formula 2 car.
And I would like to apologize to Saturn Penner, as what I believe to not be entirely possible, he has already done, as he just cuts that corner. He must not be on too many warnings yet, as that did not result in a penalty, as it will be a great shame. It would be a great shame for one of those to come his way now and undo all that great progress he's made on Mr. Kriko. And in fact, he might just be looking to make the overtake on track and not have to count on the time deduction, or rather time addition from the penalty to get that P4.
Here we are now with our leading car. Richardman had a great race, starting outside of the top 3, I believe it was, and now crossing the line to win in Saudi Arabia. Round 3, absolutely fantastic, and 3 different race winners in the first 3 races. That is incredible. And it will be PFM though posted to get P2, and Chris, we just saw him at a bad exit. Mr. Kliko could have looked to maybe get it, and that is Saturn Penner right at the back there as well. Getting P3, Chris, Saturn Penner P4, Mr. Kliko devoted down to P5. Then it's Patrick Myler P6. We'll keep that, but sadly Warwood will lose it after his penalty will be awarded. Here we go, across the line, and no assist, was right on the rear end and goes past for P7. Warwood goes P8, and Gerardo 1 lap down is going to cross the line to finish this race as well. Sad race for him, but of course he will still gain 2 points. Still good points at the end of the race. This just shows that even if you don't have the pace, if you stay consistent enough to finish the race, you will still finish in a good position. And he is the perfect example for this. He's about to cross the line, weaves to show that it's finally over. The pain will finally go away as he crosses the line to finish the race in P9. And this was Saudi Arabia.
And what a race this was. An absolutely brutal race. Saturn Penner gets driver of the day. Not entirely sure. Maybe I would vote for him, but then again, maybe I would prefer PFM, or of course our race winner. But what an unpredictable race it has been. I do not believe anybody expected this result.
Came shocking out of nowhere by the Dumps driver here, getting that done. Absolutely beautiful in first place after a bit of strategy play. Of course, today had a lot of pit stops, and it just shows that the Dumps driver here had the perfect strategy to get it through across, and it was all fully play for Chris. Sadly couldn't take another win back to back, but he gets the podium done and is on 3 out of 3 podiums this season, and will extend his championship lead by just a couple more points.
Indeed, and with this third place finish, Chris has now been on every step of the podium so far.
Finished in first race and second, finished first in the second race, and now third in the third race. It's quite funny. If he'd finished first, second, third, that would have been even more funny. But of course, we can't have all everything. So Arno, I believe we might have some interviews coming our way after here. So let's have a look if, of course, some drivers are gonna be up for it. Of course, there could also be just for a race like this, no interviews in the fun season. We had interviews which I sadly always skipped, as of course it just is this way. So let's have a look if not any asks. So I believe if we don't have any interviews, this will be the end of the stream tonight, or end of the broadcast. It was absolutely fantastic racing, and here we see the Constructors Championship. One more Prema Racing will extend the lead a little bit. Next race will be Imola, 16th of May, 2 weeks time. Can't wait to see you all there. And of course, one last time, let's have a look to the driver standings. Chris Racing will extend his championship a bit more. Satin Penna as well. Notice sadly might be losing their third place. We will see at the start of the next race. But that was incredible. Incredibly done. So yes, there will be interviews, which will be done by me. So Arno, it was fantastic having you here. Thank you so much for being co-commentator tonight, and I hope to see you again for the next race.
It was great co-commentating with you once again, and I hope to do this again sooner rather than later. On that, I sign off. Good luck with the interviews, and I will see you all later.
Good night, Arno. So here we are now in the commentary booth for, here we are now in the interview booth for, of course, the drivers who will be joining anytime soon. Let's have a look who might be our first driver to join us tonight. It could be maybe a race winner. Of course, we decided by who gets dragged. So we have Gerardo, Satin, Gnosis, and I believe Pierre Franco being a race winner. I believe we have not quite. We have the real name. I believe Pierre Franco being one of. Now that is quite unfortunate to say. I believe one of our drivers there. So we have.
Buonasera.
Buonasera. So, and Chris Sniper joined us as well. So who wants to go first?
The driver arrived in first. I don't know where he is. Maybe will arrive later.
Just joined us. Chris Sniper is. Pardon me, not Chris Sniper. We have Chris Sniper who's 333. We have yes, he would join. There we go. A race winner joining us here. Rich Hyman. Absolutely incredible race. Absolutely beautiful strategy. Fought out, and you got the win. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's quite lucky because I was I spun in the first corner after about the second safety car, and yeah, was way behind, and then there was another safety car, and then I changed the tires and was back a bit, but then I caught up with first GGR and then Sayton and PF, and then I managed to overtake them, and the car felt great all the way on the ultras, no problem.
That was incredible, of course. That spin that happened showed a bit of troubles, but you managed to get it all done and dusted. Did you have any troubles with the strategy tonight?
Uh, the problem was to do the right thing with the safety cars, because I thought that I would pit the first time, but then nah, it's too early. But the tires were great. I had 50% in the end on the softs, and they felt great. So there were no problem with the strategy. So everything was fine.
That is great to hear, of course. What nicely thought out. Had some battles as well with your teammates. Run us down how that went.
Yeah, Valvar and me was fighting a bit, but he had damaged, and also the penalty, so he wasn't that hard on me today, because no, he was kind enough to let me pass very easy.
We had on the commentary on this broadcast a bit of battles between you two. You duked it out a bit of times, but of course you came out victorious afterwards. How did you have a talk with your teammate during the race?
Yes, we was in a party and talked. He's my brother, so we know each other quite well.
What were some
Oh,
words
wow.
that you shared throughout the race?
What do you say?
What were some words you shared throughout the race?
No hard words. Just we gave each other room. We had the battle in the first chicane. And then I didn't manage to get him there, and then we had the overtake in the last corner, and there was a little bit of contact, but no danger with that, and no hard feelings.
I understand. So, great race from you. Do you have any final words to add before going before signing off tonight?
No, very fun league this with the cockpit, and yeah, hard settings and no assists, so it's very fun. And I this is my first race in F2 ever in a sim, so it's very lucky.
Beginner's luck or skill, we might not know. We'll see maybe next race. So, thank you so much. Congratulations for the win and have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. Right.
So now we have immediately with us PFM, also known, I believe, Pier Franco, it's you, if I'm not mistaken.
Pier Francesco, not Pier Franco.
My apologies. Pier Francesco, Italian. I'm also Italian, so I'm trying to keep it up. Pier Francesco, PFM rated 21, as you see here. So P2 finish. She's put it on pole position. Incredibly done. What are your thoughts after a race like that?
Well, let's say I am proud of my pole position because I would not define myself as a qualifying driver, but this time I think it delivered a good lap, so 2 points, 2 points more in the bag. But regarding the race, it was a bit tricky, let's say, because in the first phase there were many safety cars, and the strategy I think was correct. But in the second part, when we were those of us that pitted were recovering positions, this when tragedy struck, because I had a contact with Chris Sniper and another car, and so we both ended up with damage from wing, and that was unfortunate because we could have been in the fight for the win, even if Vitaiman maybe could have catched us. I don't know. So it was let's say a stone on our race, and that's unfortunate.
Talk about that crash that happened between you, Chris Sniper, and Patrick Myler. How did that come? That looked like quite a irregular crash on the main straight.
The outcome was that at least as two, I don't know about Patrick Meyer, we broke our front wing, but we were side by side, all of three, because Patrick Myler had a bad exit. So I tried overtaking on the inside, and then I think I was totally on the outside line. So I think I have no fault here. But I want to rewatch it because I want to know what really happened because I haven't rewatched it yet.
Yeah, it is quite a one to rewatch. Of course, the Stewart's team will have a look as well what the outcome might be. It was quite an unfortunate crash which caused you both to have a bit of front wing damage. Sadly, your car suffered the bigger amount, and it was noticeable in the first sector. How was it driving with a damaged car?
Let's say that in the misfortune I had we can say a bit of luck because I only damaged my right side of the wing, so it actually wasn't that bad like how it sounds. So it obviously wasn't ideal because people recovered time on me, and that was not good. But it wasn't that bad either. But I guess it's better to go racing with a full wing than half a wing.
That is that is understandable. So, do you have any final words?
Yeah, let's say that I'm looking forward to the next races because we now had 3 different winners in 3 different races. There are other 3 to go, and I hope to be in the next one because I haven't won yet.
You are the first one to have a pole position not converted to a win. So, how does that feel?
Yeah, really bad, but it wasn't in my control. So if it was in my control, I would have probably had a better result today.
Understandable, of course. Sad to see that you are the first one to break the momentum of pole to win ratio. But of course, hopefully you'll be the fourth winner of the out of 4 races. It is always interesting in F2 races that it can always come out who got the better luck in a race. And today it went to Richalman. But hopefully next time it will go to you. Maybe, of course, it can go to any other driver. We're not gonna forget all the other drivers.
Yes.
So, Francesco, pardon me again. Francesco, thank you so much for joining in the interview tonight. Have a good one. Have a good Friday night and enjoy your weekend. And with that, we're gonna immediately come over to our third place driver, Chris Sniper. How are you feeling?
Hello, mate. Yeah, I guess I'm feeling nice. Not for the race, but in general. Your commentary, it's really nice. At least here, I will also hear the race, but for the interviews, I really like that. I must say that to you.
Thank you.
And what can I say? For the race, yeah, the quali pace was not there. I know I started in third, but there were a lot of mistakes. And I made a big mistake in turn two. I spun my car, and that's not what I usually do, but it can happen. And later, I made a great comeback. I mean, I was in third place, and then there was that accident with 3 wide cars, and yeah, I maybe I didn't have to take that risk, but I done it, and that's my responsibility. That's my responsibility. Okay. And yeah, I've had damage to the right and to the left of the wing, and yeah, the first sector was horrible. I mean, a GT3 could have done the first sector better than my car. And there I was hoping I could finish the race, and that's all. A podium, yeah, I mean, great. I can do better, I think. But for tonight, that's it.
Understandable. Well, it was a great race overall. Sadly, with a few mishaps here and there. Great that you managed to finish back on the podium after a race like that. How was it for you to be also involved in that 3-car crash on the main straight? Your car suffered a little less damage, but I saw a few corners later you understeered and got a bit of a bigger damage. How do you feel after that crash?
After the first one, I took that risk of the three wide. Okay, and it went wrong. Um, uh, I took that risk. There's nothing to say about it. It was a choice that I made, and then only after that, yeah, my car was understeering in an horrible way. I really, it was not drivable in a circuit like that, like Jeddah, where understeer literally kills you. And after that, yeah, I took another damage, and um, I switched my driving style. Like I need to go slower. There's nothing that I can do about it, and yeah, I just accepted the damage after that because if I tried to push, maybe I could have gone into the wall and DNF, and that was not the best that I could do after the incident.
Yeah, that was quite what you have to think of. So now you finished all three races on the podium step, on a different podium step as well, finishing second in race 1, first in race 2, and now third in race 3. You'll keep your championship lead. Are you happy about that?
Well, what can I say? I saw the podium in all of three of the steps. Well, I'm not that happy because yeah, it's always great to do the best you can do. Obviously, it's not always possible, but we'll try to keep the lead on the championship. Just that, and let's see how it goes.
After tonight's race, you will keep the championship lead. Preyman will jump a bit higher, of course, in the team standings. But with that, you will keep it in P1 for Imola. So with that, of course, do you have any final words?
No, mate, just congrats to your commentary, to your interviews at least. I will see the race after, but I like your vibes. That's what I want to
Yeah,
say.
actually, for not being English, you really speak in a smooth way.
Thank you. Well, it took a few years of practice, and now here I am. So, thank you so much for the compliments. So, now seeing you in next race in Imola, 16th of May. In 2 weeks, the race will go on, the championship will go on, and you guys will be there to take it out. So, thank you so much, Chris Sniper. Congratulations for third place. Congratulations, Pierre Francesco, for P2. And of course, Richard has already left us, but for P1. And I will see you in the next 1 and 2 weeks. So, hopefully, see you there, and have a good night, all.
You too,
Good
mate.
night. Thanks.
You're welcome. You too. Have a great weekend then. I'll see you around.